This is a quick video showing how to estimate panels and switchgear using Red Rhino software. Now, panels is defined as 100 amp to 400 amp. In other words, panels 400 amps and down. Switchgear is to be defined by 600 amp panels and up, okay? Red Rhino has labor for panels 100 amp clear up to 4,000 amp. Now, I'm just going to show real quick here. The first thing I do is I go to, on my drawing, again, this is for commercial estimating, I go to the single line diagram and I just count or take off all the panel sizes. Now, this is an example of a single line diagram. It shows this main panel is 1600 amps. And it shows several existing panels and a new panel here. Now, the only reason I refer to this is just to show you I go to the single line diagram and take off all the panels and input them into Red Rhino. Okay, enough of that. Let's go back now to Red Rhino. So Red Rhino has labor only for panels. This is a product catalog. It has several thousand items, many of which have material pricing and some only have labor. Panels, again, has labor only. You have to get them quoted from your wholesale house. So I'm going to click on panels 100 amp to 400 amp. When I do, it displays a list of panels. Okay, so we see the 100 amp panels at the top, 125s, 150, 225, and so on, clear up to 400 amps. I'm going to just scroll down here. Now, I'm just making this real quick, but I'm showing you that I go make a material list. I input the materials here, or I should say, input all the panels for the entire job here all at one time using what I call this laundry list down here. So again, I take off the panels and I go input them here. Just as an example, I'm going to go put in a 125 amp panel here. 120 208 volt. I'm going to scroll down here and input a 480 277 225 amp panel. Now, if I had 1, 2, or 5 of them, I'd put in the total quantity. I'm just putting in a couple of onesies here. But let's say I have two 400 amp panels. And again, you just go put in the total quantities. And let's say I have, in fact, that's enough just for example. I'm just going to click Add. It populates to the right, move this over, and I'll click Save. Now, this is how Red Rhino displays materials. It shows the description, in this case, a 125 amp main lug only, 120 208 volt panel. It says See Quote. That's a reminder that there's no material pricing in that item. Okay, so it shows the quantity that I input there is a quantity of 1. There we go. Quantity of 1, 0 for the price because I got to get them quoted. And there's another place that you put the quoted materials in Red Rhino. And it shows 4.5 hours for the labor for that panel. So each item is listed with the quantity and the amount of labor. In this case, I input two 400 amp panels. It shows 7.19 hours each, or 14.38 hours. Now let me explain something else about Red Rhino for accuracy's sake. It inputs labor in decimal equivalent of labor. What I mean is decimal equivalent or fractional labor. And by using decimal equivalent, meaning 4.3 hours as opposed to just 4 or 5, it is actually makes it more accurate. Now, next I'm going to go to switchgear and show you that real quick. So in Red Rhino, I just go down here and click on switchgear up to 4,000 amps. Click on that, open it up. Populates down at the bottom. Okay, that opened up. I'm just going to expand it here, unsquinch it, what I call it. And let me just explain. When estimating large or switchgear, 600 amps and up, you want to add each section. So Red Rhino includes the labor to install each section. In this case, I'm just going to say I have a 1600 amp service. So I'm going to go down, I'm going to find a 1600 amp underground pole section, put one of those in, scroll down. Let's say I have a 1600 amp meter section, so a service section. I'll put in a 600 amp service section or meter section. And let's say I have one 1600 amp distribution section, quantity of 1. Again, put in your quantities, click Add, populates to the right, click Save. I'm just going to move this over. So again, it shows or displays labor for each panel section here, okay? That's what it does. That's what makes it super fast is it has, if you will, labor already loaded in it. So you just go input things and it populates the labor for you. Now, you can always edit any of these line items. You can edit the amount of labor. If you think the labor should be different, you can simply go in and edit one of these lines or all these lines. You can also, of course, delete them from here. Now, I want to say something else. I mean, there's a lot of other components that go into services. Red Rhino has all the materials needed for grounding. It has conduit for grounding, ground rods, ground clamps. What else? A bare copper wire, okay, or ground buses or ground bars. So there's a lot of components in there for that. And I've explained in other videos that what I'd also do is go count all the circuit breakers and I would input them. Okay, so that's what makes Red Rhino so fast and easy to use.